The Liberation of Sundrian City. Chapter 36. After the Ending. Linus kept his chin up and a smile on his face as he walked through the markets. Missy's trunk lay resting on his shoulder as he walked along behind him. He had grown calmer, more cooperative in the years since Mott's death, as if he had taken on board some of his elders' responsibilities in his absence. People merely pointed, gossiped quietly, and offered shy smiles to Linus at first as he and Missy cut a line through the market's centre. It wasn't until they reached the city straight that somebody spoke up. "Happy Liberation Day," he chimed. "Thank you," Linus Diarmaid, said another, offering a handshake to Linus that he kindly reciprocated. Crow Road was clearing out now, as evening fell on the city of Sundrian. The anniversary of the wall opening had been celebrated already during the day, the remnants of the party all but cleared from the roads. Linus had attended with Elman, the pair of them giving elephant rides to the children of the city. He wished Evander could have been there to celebrate with them, but his father had gone with Cretus on an expedition to the nearby city of Loskenberg, 6 days' trek away if you followed the path that the valley had naturally etched in the mountains. He pressed on. The gates of Sundrian City were open, for this was their default position now, and he walked Missy through without question from the gatekeepers. The new track that led from the city and into the twisting valley was speckled with people dragging carts along, setting off for their own adventures. After the palace of Emperor Frigg fell and Commander Deimos took control of the city, it had taken still several weeks until the civilians dared venture out beyond the gates. Even still, 1 year later, there was a significant portion of the populace who refused to leave the walls. They grew more suspicious of the travellers every day, some claiming that they were possessed by evil spirits or demons or worse. The really devout believers in the old ways were reduced to locking themselves in their homes, fearing the people who walked their city streets. Missy trumpeted excitedly as they approached the towering figure of Mott, who stood proudly guarding the city. This Mott, however, was much larger than any living elephant, for he was carved from stone. His trunk lay on the shoulder of a giant Goresh, who stood proud and welcoming to the travellers, a kindness impressed into his eyes for all eternity. Deimos had commissioned the statue for 2 reasons: to honour the memory of the liberator of their fine city, a man who deserved more than anyone to be honoured for their fine work, and to quash the rumour that had spread soon after the war that it had been Ramil Kulwich who sacrificed his life to open the gates to the world. Princess Robin came walking to them, a sad smile on her face. She had been sitting at the foot of Goresh, paying her tribute to a lost friend. "Hello, murderer," she said, and planted a kiss on Linus's lips. "Hello," Linus smiled. "And hello to you, Missy. Are you ready?" "Yes, let's get going." Missy hooted his approval. Through the highland grasses they trekked, Missy now stamping a path for them up the mountainside. They held hands and spoke of the day and of Goresh and of Mott and all the men lost to the battle. The princess still liked to hear the stories of the battle, for she had missed it, being hidden in Cretus's tool shed, forced to sit idly by as men sacrificed their lives for her. It was almost 1 week after the wall had opened before it was finally deemed safe for the princess to leave her hiding place, which she did with seething anger at her imposed inaction. They plateaued on the top of the mountain, a view of the valleys stretching endlessly before them, and Missy wasted no time trotting forward to the tree they had selected to be the final resting place of his dear friend Mott. The 3 of them stood over the skeleton, which protruded from the ground, as was tradition for an elephant burial, according to Alman. Missy placed his trunk on the bottom jaw of Mott, rubbing along the lower teeth. A sad trumpeting noise left him, and tears rolled down his face. Indeed, tears ran down the face of Linus too, and the princess smiled and wiped them away for him kindly. Some hours passed under that tree for Linus and Robin, staring into the night sky, enjoying the endless stars, when finally the princess stirred and shivered in the cold. "Where shall we go now?" she asked, a whisper. Linus took in the beauty of her face, the sweetness in her voice, and rubbing at her shoulder to warm her, he smiled and said, "Anywhere you want." The end.